Robyn Brown's jealousy just exploded into a full-blown crisis, and insiders are whispering that her marriage to Cody might be hanging by a thread. When Briana Chicken Fry dropped a bombshell on her podcast finale, revealing that Cody told fellow Special Forces castmates that Robyn couldn't attend press events because she was going to hurt her, the Sister Wives community didn't just gasp at the drama. They started connecting dots that paint a seriously troubling picture of what's happening behind closed doors in the Brown household. Here's what has everyone talking. Briana casually mentioned on her BFF podcast that she went to dinner with Shawn Johnson East, Andrew East, and Gia Giudice the night before the Special Forces finale press events. They'd all seen Cody earlier that day, and when they asked where his wife was, where Robyn was, Cody apparently didn't hesitate. He straight up told them that Robyn couldn't come because if she did, she was gonna hurt Briana. Not that Robyn was busy with the kids, not that she had other obligations, but that she was so consumed with rage and jealousy over a 26-year-old podcaster that she'd literally become violent. And that's where the alarm bells started ringing for people who've watched this family implode over the past few years. Because this isn't normal jealousy, this isn't just Robyn being uncomfortable or insecure. This is Robyn allegedly threatening violence against a woman she's never even met, and Cody feeling comfortable enough to broadcast that information to relative strangers. Sources close to the situation are reportedly saying this incident was just the tip of the iceberg, that the real fights happened at home, and that the tension in the Brown house since Cody returned from Special Forces filming has been absolutely unbearable. Industry insiders are speculating that we might be watching the beginning of the end for Cody and Robyn, and the parallels to his previous divorces are impossible to ignore. Think about it. Cody spent weeks away from Robyn, paired up constantly with a young, attractive woman who wasn't afraid to challenge him. He came back different. He experienced validation and attention from the public again. He remembered what it felt like to be around people who didn't worship him but also didn't completely isolate him from the world. And now Robyn is spiraling, lashing out, and creating the exact kind of toxic, suffocating environment that Cody has used to justify every single one of his previous exits. The question everyone's asking is whether Robyn's extreme reaction to Briana is really about Briana at all, or whether it's about Robyn finally recognizing that she's trapped in the same cycle that destroyed Cody's relationships with Mary, Janelle, and Christine. Word on the street is that this situation has exposed cracks in the Brown marriage that can't be hidden anymore, and that what happened with Briana might just be the catalyst that brings the whole thing crashing down. The whispers started almost immediately after Special Forces wrapped filming, and they haven't stopped. People who've crossed paths with Cody during the press tour are reportedly saying he seemed different, lighter, more energized, like he'd remembered what it felt like to exist outside of Robyn's carefully controlled bubble. And that shift, that tiny taste of freedom and validation, has apparently sent Robyn into an absolute tailspin. Sources suggest that the press tour became ground zero for massive blowouts at home. Every interview Cody did, every podcast appearance, every time Briana's name came up, Robyn was allegedly watching and dissecting and spiraling deeper into paranoia. Reports indicate she demanded to know every single detail of Cody's interactions with Briana during filming. Who said what? Who sat where? Who laughed at whose jokes? The kind of obsessive interrogation that doesn't come from a place of security, but from genuine terror that something happened or could happen. And here's what's really fueling the marriage crisis rumors. Robyn didn't just express discomfort or ask Cody not to do joint press with Briana. According to what Cody himself told other cast members, Robyn allegedly said she would hurt Briana if they were in the same room. That's not insecurity, that's rage. That's a woman who feels so threatened, so destabilized by another woman's mere existence in her husband's orbit that she's lost all perspective and control. Industry insiders are speculating that Robyn's refusal to attend the press events wasn't really about Briana at all. It was about refusing to watch Cody get attention, validation, and positive feedback from the public after months of being vilified on Sister Wives. Think about it. For years, Robyn has had Cody all to herself in their isolated Flagstaff fortress. No other wives competing for his time. No public appearances where he might get reminded that the world doesn't revolve around Robyn. Just the two of them in their echo chamber where Robyn can maintain her position as the only woman who matters. But Special Forces changed everything. Cody got to be around other people. He got to interact with women who weren't his wives or his daughters. He got attention from producers, from castmates, from viewers who were hate-watching but still watching. And according to people close to the situation, Cody seemed to enjoy it. He seemed to feed off that energy in a way that Robyn found absolutely terrifying, There's speculation that Robin saw something in Cody when he came back from filming, a spark, a shift, a reminder that he used to be a man who thrived on female attention and validation from multiple women, and the realization that Cody might miss that life, might resent the isolation she's imposed, might be capable of leaving her just like he left the others, has apparently triggered a level of jealousy and control that's making their home environment toxic. People are questioning whether Robin's meltdown over Briana is really about protecting her marriage, or whether it's about recognizing that her marriage might already be in trouble, and Briana just became the convenient scapegoat for problems that run much deeper. Here's what makes the Briana situation fundamentally different from every other jealousy episode in Robin's history, and why it has people convinced we're watching a real crisis unfold. Robin has always been jealous of the other wives. She competed with Mary, Janelle, and Christine for decades. She manipulated situations to get more time, more resources, more of Cody's attention and affection. But those were battles she knew how to fight. Those were women within the plural marriage structure. Women she could undermine and eventually push out. Briana represents something entirely new and infinitely more dangerous to Robin's sense of security. She's not a sister wife. She's not someone Cody married or committed to. She's an outsider who got close to Cody without Robin's permission, without Robin's ability to monitor and control the relationship, and without any of the plural marriage dynamics that Robin learned to weaponize over the years. And that has apparently sent Robin into uncharted territory of panic and rage. Word on the street is that Robin has been obsessively consuming every piece of Special Forces content, every episode, every behind-the-scenes clip, every podcast interview where Briana talks about her experience with Cody, and with each new reveal about how much time they spent together, how Briana had to manage Cody's behavior, how she wasn't intimidated by him or impressed by him, Robin's anxiety has reportedly escalated to unbearable levels. The real threat isn't that Briana is interested in Cody, because she's made it abundantly clear she's not. She called him creepy. She said he had screws loose. She admitted she thought he might have a disability because his behavior was so bizarre. But here's what has Robin spiraling. The public actually likes Briana. The public respects her for calling Cody out. The public sees her as the voice of reason who wasn't afraid to tell Cody he stank, that he needed to get his act together, that his behavior was unacceptable. And Robin has always fancied herself as that person. She's always positioned herself as the only woman who can handle Cody, guide Cody, speak truth to Cody when he's out of line. That's been her entire identity and her justification for why she deserves to be the last wife standing. But Briana waltzed in and did Robin's job better than Robin ever has. And she did it without fawning over Cody, without treating him like he's special, without any of the worship and adoration that Robin uses to maintain her position. Reports suggest that Robin has been demanding answers from Cody about why he let Briana talk to him that way, why he didn't defend himself, why he seemed to respect Briana's boundaries and feedback when he never respected the other wives' concerns. And those questions have apparently created massive tension because they force Cody to confront the reality that he responds better to women who don't coddle him, which completely undermines the dynamic he and Robin have built their entire marriage on. Insiders are speculating that Robin finally recognizes she's not as irreplaceable as she thought, and that realization is tearing their marriage apart from the inside. Let's talk about what really has Robin losing sleep at night. And it's not just that Briana spent time with Cody. It's every single detail of how that time was spent and what it represents. Briana revealed on the Decider podcast that she spent more time with Cody than anyone else during Special Forces filming. They were paired up in almost every single challenge together. Every car ride, she was practically with Cody. They ended up bunking next to each other because another contestant left and Cody was in between them. This wasn't casual proximity. This was constant, unavoidable, intimate closeness for days on end. And Robin had zero control over any of it. She couldn't monitor their conversations, she couldn't insert herself between them, she couldn't do what she's always done, which is position herself as the buffer and interpreter between Cody and the rest of the world. For the first time in years, Cody was alone with another woman, forced to navigate a relationship without Robin's guidance or interference. And that has apparently shaken Robin to her core. But here's where it gets even more threatening for Robin. Briana isn't just any woman. She's 26 years old. Robin is 47. That's a 21-year age gap. And it's the kind of gap that would make any wife insecure, but especially a wife whose husband has a documented history of pursuing younger women and whose husband has explicitly stated on camera that he's not getting his physical needs met. Remember what Cody said to Robin on Sister Wives? He made it crystal clear that the only reason he would ever bring in another wife is because he wasn't getting his needs met sexually. He put that expectation and that pressure directly on Robin's shoulders. essentially telling her that if she doesn't keep him satisfied, he'll look elsewhere. And now he's just spent weeks in close quarters with a beautiful woman half Robin's age who had to physically support him, encourage him, push him through challenges, and be his constant companion. Sources close to the situation suggest that Robin has been obsessing over every physical interaction between Kody and Briana. Did they touch during challenges? Did Briana have to grab his arm or his hand? Were there moments of physical closeness that the cameras didn't catch? The kind of spiraling paranoia that comes from a woman who knows her husband has a wandering eye and a history of emotionally checking out of relationships when someone new and exciting enters his orbit. Industry insiders are speculating that Robin sees Briana as everything she's not and everything she can never be again. Young, confident, unburdened by years of plural marriage trauma, not desperate for Kody's approval or validation. And the worst part, Briana wasn't even trying to attract Kody. She wasn't competing for his attention. She was just existing in her own power and authenticity, and that's apparently more threatening to Robin than any sister wife ever was. The age and attractiveness factor has reportedly created a crisis of confidence in Robin that's manifesting as rage toward Briana, but insiders suggest the real target of that rage is Kody himself for putting Robin in a position where she has to compete with younger women for relevance. Now let's examine what might be driving Robin even crazier than the time Kody spent with Briana. It's how Kody talked about Briana afterward and the subtle tells that would send any suspicious wife into a full investigation mode. During his press tour interviews, Kody's entire demeanor seemed to shift whenever Briana's name came up. He got defensive, he got explanatory, he bent over backwards to justify their interactions and explain away the creepy comments she made about him. In one interview, Kody actually said he understood why Briana called him creepy, and he tried to make a joke about his hair. In another, he talked about how Briana was doing gentle parenting with him on the show, like she was taking care of him. He mentioned multiple times how much time they spent together, how they were always partnered up, how she had to rein him in. And here's the thing, Kody didn't have to provide that much detail. He didn't have to keep bringing up Briana unprompted, but he did. And sources suggest that Robin noticed every single mention. Word on the street is that Robin has been replaying those interviews over and over, analyzing Kody's tone, his facial expressions, the way he smiled when talking about certain moments with Briana. The kind of forensic analysis that happens when a wife knows something is off but can't quite put her finger on what. And what Robin allegedly found was evidence that Kody enjoyed his time with Briana more than he's willing to admit, even to himself. People close to the situation are speculating about what Kody told Robin in private versus what he said publicly. Did Kody come home from filming and rave about how helpful Briana was? Did he mention that she bunked next to him? Did he talk about how she wasn't afraid to call him out and how refreshing that was compared to Robin's constant enabling? Because if he did, that would explain why Robin's reaction has been so extreme and so specifically targeted at Briana rather than at the entire Special Forces experience. There's also speculation that Kody might have said things about Briana that triggered Robin's deepest insecurities, comments about how young she is, how direct and honest she is, how she reminds him of what women were like before he got trapped in the plural marriage mess, the kind of casual observations that a husband might make without realizing he's basically telling his wife that he misses being around women who aren't her. Industry insiders suggest that Robin has been interrogating Kody about every conversation he had with Briana, demanding to know what they talked about during those car rides, what they discussed while bunking near each other, whether Briana ever expressed interest in him beyond the show. And Kody's responses, whatever they've been, have apparently not satisfied Robin's need for reassurance. Reports indicate that Kody has been rewatching Special Forces episodes, allegedly to see how he came across on camera. But sources close to the situation whisper that Robin has been right there beside him, scrutinizing every frame where Briana appears, looking for evidence of chemistry or attraction or anything that would confirm her worst fears about what really happened during those weeks away from home. Let's dig into the violent threat itself, because the exact words Kody reportedly used reveal so much about the crisis brewing in his marriage. According to Briana, Kody didn't just say Robin was uncomfortable with the situation or that Robin preferred to stay home. He specifically told Shawn, Andrew, and Gia that Robin couldn't come to the press events because she was going to hurt Briana. Not that she might be awkward, not that she'd be upset, but that she would physically harm another person. That's a staggering admission for Kody to make to people he barely knows, and it raises serious questions about what's really happening behind closed doors. Was Kody exaggerating for dramatic effect? Was he trying to make Robin look unhinged to justify his own behavior? Or did Robin genuinely express that level of rage and Cody felt the need to warn others and protect Briana from his own wife? Sources close to the situation are reportedly divided on whether to take the threat literally. On one hand, Robin has a documented history of avoiding confrontation. She walked away from Mary and Janelle at Coyote Pass because she couldn't handle direct conflict. She spent years hiding behind Cody, letting him fight her battles, using him as a shield between herself and anything uncomfortable. The idea of Robin actually getting physical with anyone seems almost laughable given her established pattern of conflict avoidance. But here's what has people taking this more seriously. Allegations have surfaced over the years about Robin's temper behind closed doors. Her ex-husband's niece claimed to have witnessed Robin allegedly strike her first husband during arguments. Multiple sources have suggested that Robin's sweet, victimized persona on camera doesn't match the controlling, manipulative behavior she exhibits in private. And Cody himself has bragged in the past about how Robin will throw up dukes if anyone talks badly about him, suggesting that Robin's protective instincts can turn aggressive when she feels threatened. Industry insiders are speculating that Cody wanted this story to get out. Think about it. He could have given Shawn, Andrew, and Gia any excuse for Robin's absence. He could have said she was home with the kids, which would have been a perfectly reasonable and believable explanation. But instead, he chose to tell them that Robin was so consumed with jealousy and rage that she couldn't be trusted in the same room as Briana. That's not protecting Robin's reputation. That's throwing her under the bus. Word on the street suggests that Cody might be building a narrative intentionally painting Robin as unstable and irrationally jealous, and anyone who watched his previous marriages implode recognizes this pattern. Cody starts talking about how unreasonable his wife is being, how demanding she is, how she's making his life difficult, and then suddenly, the marriage is over, and Cody has a whole list of justifications for why he had to leave. People are questioning whether Cody's public comments about Robin's violent jealousy are the opening salvo in divorce number 4, and whether Robin even realizes that her husband just made her look completely unhinged to anyone paying attention. Here's where the marriage crisis rumors get really dark, and it's all about pattern recognition. Anyone who's followed Cody's romantic history knows he has a very specific playbook when he's done with a relationship, and insiders are suggesting we're watching him run that exact same play with Robin right now. It starts with emotional distance. Then comes the public criticism. Then he manufactures conflict and drama to justify his exit. And the Briana situation has all the hallmarks of Cody creating the chaos he needs to eventually walk away. Think back to how Cody's relationship with Mary deteriorated. He emotionally detached while he was courting Robin. He stopped seeing Mary as a partner and started seeing her as an obligation. He found reasons to criticize her, to pull away, to make her feel like she was the problem. And then when Mary's catfishing scandal happened, Cody had the perfect excuse to completely check out while still playing the victim. He didn't have to take responsibility for abandoning the marriage, because Mary's betrayal gave him cover. The same pattern played out with Janelle and Christine. Cody found their requests unreasonable, their expectations too high, their presence suffocating. He created distance and resentment, and then when they finally left, he acted like they were the ones who destroyed the family. He rewrote history to make himself the victim of their abandonment rather than the architect of the relationship's demise. And now sources suggest he's doing it to Robin. The Briana drama isn't just about Briana. It's about Cody testing the waters of public sympathy. It's about him showing the world that Robin is jealous, controlling, and irrational, that she won't let him have normal interactions with other people, that she's so possessive and insecure that she threatens violence against women who pose no actual threat. He's building the narrative that Robin is impossible to live with, and he's doing it in real time during press tours and podcast interviews. Industry insiders are speculating that Cody might have actually enjoyed the fact that Robin melted down over Briana, because it gave him ammunition, it gave him a story to tell, it gave him a way to paint himself as the reasonable one trapped with an unreasonable woman, which is exactly how he positioned himself during his divorces from the other wives. Word on the street is that Cody has been pulling away from Robin emotionally ever since he returned from Special Forces filming, that he's been distant and distracted and disengaged in ways that Robin is desperately trying to fix by reasserting control. But the more she tries to control him, the more he resents her. And the more he resents her, the more justified he feels in checking out of the marriage. People close to the situation suggest that Cody might be deliberately pushing Robin's buttons, talking about Briana more than necessary, rewatching episodes where he and Briana interact, bringing up moments from filming that he knows will trigger Robin's insecurity, and every time Robin reacts with jealousy or anger, Cody gets to point to that reaction as evidence that she's the problem problem, not him. The question insiders are asking is whether Cody is consciously trying to destroy his marriage to Robin or whether this is just his subconscious pattern playing out again. Let's connect some disturbing dots that make Robin's jealousy crisis even more understandable, even if her reaction is completely disproportionate. Because the Special Forces experience didn't just put Cody in close proximity to a young, attractive woman, it exposed to the entire world just how deeply Cody hates and disrespects women, and Robin had to watch that play out on national television while knowing Briana was right there in the middle of it all. The drill sergeants called Cody out repeatedly for his inability to work with women. They noticed immediately that he couldn't look female authority figures in the eye, that he refused to answer their questions, that he had zero respect for his female teammates. The female drill sergeant literally screamed in his face that he likes to watch women suffer, that she could see exactly who he was, and that his misogyny was so obvious it became the reason he got kicked off the show, and Briana was there for all of it. She experienced firsthand what it's like to be partnered with a man who has no regard for women's safety, perspectives, or contributions. She had to deal with Cody steamrolling over her input during challenges. She had to watch him refuse to help her or protect her. She had to be the one managing his behavior and keeping him in check because he couldn't function as an equal partner with a woman. Sources suggest that Robin watched those episodes and recognized herself in every dynamic. She saw how Cody treats women when he thinks no one's watching, when he's stressed, when he's stripped of the ability to perform for cameras. And it's exactly how he's treated her behind closed doors for years, except Robin has always made excuses for it, justified it, enabled it by positioning herself as his handler rather than his equal. But Briana didn't make excuses. She called him out, she told him he stank, she said he was creepy. She refused to tolerate his disrespect and his inability to function like a normal adult human being, and the world applauded her for it. The public loved that Briana wasn't intimidated by Cody, wasn't charmed by him, wasn't willing to baby him through challenges he should have been able to handle himself. Industry insiders are speculating that Robin's extreme jealousy isn't really about sexual attraction or romantic threat. It's about the fact that Briana represents everything Robin has given up to stay married to Cody. Self-respect, boundaries, the ability to call out bad behavior without tiptoeing around a fragile male ego. Briana spent weeks with Cody and walked away thinking he had screws loose, while Robin has spent 15 years convincing herself that managing Cody's dysfunction is her divine calling. Word on the street suggests that watching Cody's misogyny get exposed on Special Forces forced Robin to confront truths about her marriage that she's been suppressing for years, that her husband doesn't respect women, that he never has, that even when paired with a young woman who was nice to him, who helped him, who tried to work with him, Cody still couldn't function because his hatred of women is so deeply ingrained, it sabotages every relationship he has. And Briana became the target of Robin's rage because acknowledging the real problem, that Cody himself is irredeemably broken, would mean admitting that Robin destroyed her sister-wife relationships for a man who isn't worth it. Now let's talk about the convenient practical excuses versus the emotional reality that everyone can see right through. Yes, Robin has 2 school-age children. Yes, Ariella and Solomon are both in school right now, and coordinating childcare for a multi-day press tour would be complicated. Yes, it's the middle of the school year, and pulling kids out or finding someone to watch them isn't simple when you've systematically isolated yourself from family and support systems for years. These are all legitimate, reasonable explanations for why Robin couldn't or wouldn't travel to Los Angeles for Special Forces press events. Cody could have told Shawn, Andrew, and Gia any of these perfectly acceptable reasons, but he didn't. He chose instead to say that Robin would hurt Briana if they were in the same room. And that choice reveals everything about what's really happening in the Brown household. Sources close to the situation suggest that the childcare excuse was exactly that, an excuse Robin used to avoid a situation that terrified her, because attending those press events would have meant watching Cody get positive attention and validation. It would have meant seeing him interact with castmates who actually enjoyed his company in small doses. It would have meant potentially running into Briana and having to confront the reality that this woman spent more quality time with Robin's husband in 9 days than Robin has had with him in months. Industry insiders are speculating that massive fights happened behind closed doors before Cody left for the press tour, that Robin demanded he cancel, that she wanted him to refuse any joint appearances with Briana, that she tried to control every aspect of his schedule and his interactions, and when Cody pushed back or refused to comply completely, Robin allegedly unleashed a level of rage and jealousy that shocked even him. Word on the street is that Robin didn't just express discomfort or concern. She allegedly went on tirades about Briana, demanded to know if Cody was attracted to her, accused him of having feelings he hadn't even acknowledged to himself, created such a toxic atmosphere that Cody's comment about Robin hurting Briana might not have been hyperbole at all, but an accurate assessment of his wife's mental state. People close to the situation report that the "I'll hurt her" statement was Robin's way of drawing a line in the sand, of making it absolutely clear that she would not tolerate Cody being in the same space as Briana without Robin there to monitor and control the interaction. It was a territorial move disguised as protective jealousy, and it backfired spectacularly because now the entire world knows just how threatened Robin feels. But here's what makes this even more revealing. Robin used to travel with Cody all the time when the other wives were still around. She'd find childcare, she'd make arrangements, she'd move heaven and earth to be wherever Cody was, because she couldn't stand the thought of him spending time with Mary, Janelle, or Christine without her interference. But now that it's just the two of them, now that Robin has supposedly won, she's so paranoid and insecure that she can't even let Cody do a press tour without threatening violence. The emotional temperature in that house must be absolutely suffocating, and insiders suggest that Cody is starting to feel trapped in the exact same way he felt trapped in his marriages to the other wives. So here's the million-dollar question that has everyone in the Sister Wives community buzzing with speculation. Is the Briana drama just a preview of Robin's future if Cody ever does pursue another relationship? Because what we witnessed wasn't a wife expressing reasonable boundaries or healthy concern. It was a complete meltdown over a woman who posed zero actual threat. And that level of jealousy doesn't just disappear, it escalates. Think about what Robin's reaction reveals about her state of mind right now. She's so insecure in her position as Cody's only wife that a 26-year-old podcaster who openly called him creepy sent her into a rage spiral. Briana wasn't flirting with Cody, she wasn't pursuing him, she wasn't even kind to him in the way that would signal romantic interest. She treated him like an annoying project she had to manage, and that was enough to make Robin allegedly threaten violence. So what happens when Cody actually encounters a woman who is interested in him? What happens when he meets someone at a podcast event or a public appearance who flirts with him, who validates him, who makes him feel like the man he thinks he used to be? Industry insiders are speculating that Robin's jealousy will become so unbearable that it'll drive Cody away faster than any of the other wives' demands ever did. Because here's the pattern everyone recognizes. Cody always claimed the other wives were too demanding, too controlling, too suffocating. He said Mary was cold and distant. He said Janelle didn't give him enough attention. He said Christine wanted too much from him and made him feel trapped. But what was really happening? Those women were setting boundaries, asking for basic respect and consideration, and expecting Cody to be an actual partner rather than a perpetual victim. And now Robin is doing the exact same things, except worse. She's isolated Cody from his children, from his extended family, from any outside support system or perspective. She's made herself his entire world, and instead of that creating the devoted partnership she fantasized about, it's created a pressure cooker of resentment and dysfunction. Word on the street suggests that Cody is already feeling suffocated by Robin's jealousy and control, and the Briana situation just exposed how bad it's gotten. Sources close to the situation are speculating that Robin is sealing her own fate, that her extreme reaction to Briana has shown Cody a future where he can never interact with another woman without World War III erupting at home, where every public appearance becomes a minefield, where Robin's insecurity dictates every aspect of his life. And for a man who craves attention and validation as much as Cody does, that's an unsustainable situation. The real question isn't whether Cody and Robin's marriage is in crisis. It's whether this crisis is terminal, whether we're watching the same slow-motion collapse that preceded his other divorces, and whether Robin has any idea that her jealousy might be the thing that finally pushes Cody to leave. Drop your thoughts below. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned. The next video is waiting, and you won't want to miss what's coming next.